Now, when I started this business 20 years ago, I had no idea where it was gonna go, how fast it was gonna get there. I had no idea what the journey was gonna be or what the destination would be, but there are some things I've learned along the way that I'm certainly gonna spend the first 5 or so minutes here, pass on some good do's and don'ts that might help you, and you might be in a earlier part of your journey. I'm 61 years old. If you're younger, these are some of the things you might want to take into account. One of the things early on in my modeling career, I guess is the right word, I never realized how important it is to have your shop organized. And I guess even up to this point, I really didn't realize it till the last week. We've had rain come through here, a couple of lousy days, many lousy days, and I have spent the bulk of this time trying to organize things. Even organized my work table, organize where we store these 800 master videos, among other things. And what I'm suggesting is, and it might be something that you can take advantage of, is every minute that I've spent organizing things, and it's been several hours of course, I know I'll get back times 10. And I knew when I finally got around to getting the lathe out of the box and getting it set up, I knew I couldn't work in that little area that we had. I organized this whole area. This took a couple of days, but now that it's done, Karen has helped me organize all my drills and buffing pads and all these little peripheral things. We painted the tabletops. I've got some of that on some of the previous videos. But the bottom line is, now I can get some serious work done. We're coming up on the part of the year. In fact, if you look out at the weather today, it looks like it's going to snow. It really is, I think, one of the things we were able to make up. Little test parts. These are going to be more. We're going to try to get them professionally welded now. We know we learned a lot about exhaust systems. And we know Sergi Belco's, if I just put a bigger exhaust stack on that, that'll be real nice. We learned a lot. And every time we learn something, I try to pass it on, because I feel like that's part of my the thing I enjoy about life, is not only learning this stuff. I love to be out at the field all covered with grease and oil and sweating and uncomfortable and everything. But I love to, on that ride home, think I learned something. And this was something, every time I needed a screw or a bolt or a nut or something, it just made me crazy. I needed a crimp, couldn't find them, now we have them. I needed a wheel collar, couldn't find them, now we have a drawer. And so what I'm suggesting is, maybe as we start the building season, it might be one of the things you want to consider. This was about $15. Some of these other organizers I had gotten years ago, I got all these new pliers. What I want to do is I want to start this year's plane off with the shop organized. Now, over the years, what I've been very prone to do is this. I don't know if this was in a gene pool. I know my mom, my sister, they're all saveaholics. We really saved everything. Now, part of that is because we were very poor. So we never threw away an old tire, an old wheel, an old bicycle rim, and everything we had, we saved, because you never knew if you know, somebody was going to lose their job or whatever. So we saved all this junk. But what happens, and it's this time of year right now, I go through the house, through the garage. We have a garage weekend in the next couple of weeks. Karen and I, all year we save stuff, and then we have what we call our fall throwout day. And usually that results in about 15 bags of garbage. Then I like to, at the end of this, and these things don't necessarily happen at the same time, but then I like to organize. In this case, I've organized and thrown out at the same time. And then what this does, this puts me in a mood to do top quality modeling. When this isn't right, when I'm working with crap all over and dust and dirt and balsa chips and aluminum chips, and I never get in that mood that I need to be in. What's excellent now is I'm coming up on the part of the year that I enjoy the most. We're getting ready to start building. Now, I also, when I get in the mood to build, usually everybody else does too, but I've been able to do something that I'm real happy with. I've finally convinced Rich Jacobone his new Stuka, and we've put a lot of time. We're going to put some time in, maybe even today, if he can break away from his job, because it's not a flyable day. In fact, the next couple of days aren't flyable. But I've finally convinced him, since this is going to be his gull-wing Stuka, this is going to be his dream plane, this is going to be to him what my B-25 and my bombers are to me in Testarossa. I've convinced him, put a 90 in it. That'll allow him to just build a wider range of semi-scale choices, the big giant cowl, maybe a little extra paint. And I just think it'll make for the biggest thing, and I'm leading into this. I got a good segue here for leading into this. What I think this is going to do for Rich, and I've told him he's going away next week, and I'm going to make him up the crutch. Rich Oliver is going to send me down a bare case, and I'm going to make him up a crutch. Then I'm going to probably make myself up a crutch, because again, we're going to be using 9-inch nose moment arms, and I'll explain more of that when we actually make the crutches. But what I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to make his crutch and the crutch for my ship, and by having 2 of them next year, what I'll be able to do then is develop things. I'll be able to try 2 different props, 2 different mufflers, 2 different Venturis, 2 different everything. It'll get the 90 development come springtime, 1 notch up the development ladder, as opposed to if we were only going to have 1 plane to deal with. Now it may be that somebody else is going to want to, and I'm thinking Walt Russell, Walt, you should be getting on that list for a 90 for the Helldiver. Let me explain one of the things, and this may be a little complex, but it's something that I'm working toward right now. Now what I always wanted to do, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to document pretty much, I hope, most of the steps of this. This is the Powertrain we used last year, and I think that is, as far as I'm concerned, that's pretty much state of the art. This is, Rich Oliver used it, I used it, among other people. I just really think that was about the best Powertrain I've ever had in a plane. Easy, friendly, quiet, had a lot of good features going for it. The 90 will be even better, but there's going to be a difference. And it's a subtle difference, and you don't think about it. A lot of people don't even understand how it works, and maybe I'm one of them, I don't know. But this is going to have some kind of a muffler. Now what I'm going to constantly be working toward is a thing that I call Powertrain weight. We basically are going to be replacing a tune pipe, which is about 2 ounces, a coupler and header, which are about another 2 ounces, so that's 4 ounces, a 12-ounce motor, and a 1-ounce spinner. Now these are the component parts, and what I'm going to do is when I take the Spitfire apart, and we're going to be doing a lot more testing even in bad weather, but I want to know that this whole component part thing, the Powertrain, this whole Powertrain, what the total all-up weight is going to be. Well, just rough numbers, our whole Powertrain last year was about 17 ounces. Now it doesn't really include the prop, because the prop is going to be, we're using pretty much similar, very similar props on both of these. The Doran props are the lightest of the props. We haven't done any 3-blade testing with this yet, because Doran hasn't given us any of the bigger diameter props, but he certainly will be the first ones, hopefully, to get them. Here's my point now. Now I'm starting with what started out to be a 21-ounce engine, a little under 21 ounces. Did not include the muffler. That's another ounce for the muffler, this little muffler that came with it. And the spinner now is about a 1/2 ounce. Well, here's what I'm alluding to here, is we've got a variance of just rough numbers now. I'll give away the 1/2 ounce, in fact, just to make this simple. We've got a 5-ounce difference in total all-up weight. Now, we've pecked away at this. This isn't 5 ounces anymore. We started this thing out with a 5-ounce handicap, which I managed to make a lighter drive washer, and that pecked this down to about 4.5, and I'm just going to be real rough about these things. Getting some of the material off the back of the motor here, and the header was about another 1/2 ounce altogether, so I'm down to 4 ounces. Now, part of the thing I want to try to do, and I want to start working on this today, Bob Zambelli may be able to get Saturday off and work with me on this. We want to make up some real lightweight exhaust parts, because one of the gains we can make is that we don't have to carry around a 4-ounce exhaust system. Between the header, the coupler, and the pipe, that's a 4-ounce Christmas tree ornament. I'm hoping we can get this down to 1.5. I have it down to 2 already, and I think there's a 1/2 ounce left to get out of there. We're also going to get this case from Rich Oliver, and he's going to allow me to butcher up the case and see how much aluminum I can get off the case. But keep in mind, as we start this, we're starting with a 4-ounce handicap. Now, how are we going to make up some of that 4 ounces? Well, we know we needed really about a 7-ounce tank, and I know I've run the 90 so far on 5 ounces. Now that's a significant amount of fuel, and it's a significant amount of weight, not only in the tank but in the liquid that gets burned off. So we're going to hopefully make up, and in the wildest of scenarios, let's say we're going to use a 1/2 ounce less fuel. Well, if we can do that, now we can get that down to 3.5 ounces. Well, now Rich Oliver already has sent me, I have it in the truck ready for our next test day, Hemi heads. Now I know in the past that the squish band head, that when you took out the material there was a little bit of a weight gain. I know on some of the heads that I did on Old Tigers I took down some of the diameter. I don't know how much we'll be able to take off of that. And I've taken off some of the finning off the head. Now it'll allow me to do this because we're going to run this motor slow. We're running this motor right now at 8,400. Now, so you buy two things when you run lower RPM. You run that the motor stays cooler, and in the case of most of the time, a cooler motor gives a better stunt run. Now here's the next part of it, is we're going to be designing up a plane. And we don't have a firm picture in our mind, neither does Les. Nobody does right now. The only one knows is Rich Jacobone. But because we have a 3.5 ounce handicap, and the 3.5 ounces is basically on this end of the seesaw, what I'm going to do is pretty much, and this is not a secret thing how to do this, is I've done this already on the Typhoon, is we'll take last year's plans out, because we're going to use the same wing, move the wing 1 inch forward, which gives you a 9 ounce, and it's going to go down 1/8 of an inch. So repositioning the wing in the fuselage is going to allow for, and Rich's Stuka will pretty much be a mirror image of this, a 9-inch long nose moment arm. We know that losing 1 inch off the nose, and you can figure the calculation, there's a scientific formula. If you move that weight further back to the CG, this is all good and well. But I know an 8 ounce will be too short, because the Typhoon, what had happened is that motor there was no ability to get weight off of it. That motor just went in at 21 ounces or whatever, 19.9 or whatever. So I'm not going to run that risk, because now we do have much lighter spinners. And the spinners and the carbon fuel tank, these are the parts that make this happen. A light spinner, a light fuel tank, getting some weight off the nose. Now, but the wing is going to be further forward. See, I don't want to change the view of the plane. I just want to have the wing further forward, which automatically is going to increase the tail moment 1 inch. So we're going to have aerodynamic forces that the tail moment on this now will be 1 inch longer. It'll be 18 inches. Now, I've built pattern masters. In fact, Jose's plane this is a 10-inch nose and an 18 tail. And I got this wrong, by the way. It should be measured hinge line to hinge line. But just to make it clear. But look what happens when you do that. Now when I draw the center of gravity line in, my 9-inch nose, I've taken this, let's pretend this is a seesaw. And I've taken the guy who's the heaviest on the seesaw, moved him closer to the fulcrum, taken the lighter of the two guys, moved him an inch away. So the aggregate gain is 2 ounces here. Now, I just think that allows me to do two things. It allows me to keep a relative side view that I'm used to looking at and I'm comfortable with. It's going to allow me to drive a 14-inch prop without having, well, we're already doing it. The smaller tank, and I don't know, we probably will try to settle on maybe even having a 6-ounce tank in there just to be safe. But there's going to be more things coming on this. But this is where it is right now. This is actually, and I feel good about it, that we're starting from a place that isn't radically different. Now, the difference in running a 90 to a 60, you would think isn't that big of a deal, because what we've done is we've kept the plane very much like a 76 plane or a 60 plane, which the 76 plane is a 60 plane. So if you expanded this plane, well, maybe none of these things would be easy to deal with. It'd get a lot more complicated. Because we're not changing the aerodynamics of the plane, we should be able to keep our nice cornering, good level flight, all the characteristics we want. We're certainly nowhere near overloading the wing. Now, if we, in the worst scenario, the Testarossa was 62 ounces. Even if it comes out that we just buy the fact this is going to be a 3-ounce heavier plane, it'll be a 65-ounce 90 ship. Now, to relate that correctly, think about this for a minute. This is the part that you have to think about before this all makes sense. We all know an old Fox 35, just to use a good example. Fox 35 would be real happy pulling around a 45-ounce plane. But it was a lot happier if it was 40 ounces. It was really happy. You build an Obler at 40 ounces with a Fox 35, probably a good combination. We know, for instance, typical 40 planes, you can pick the one you like, unless you're building ultra light. These are going to be in the 40 to 45 ounce range, and they're better, of course, at 40. But even at 45, they're okay. Now, what happens if you build a 60 ship? Look at what really happens. Almost every 60 ship that we've ever seen comes in between 60 and 65. Except for maybe some very heavy ones or very large ones like a Pattern Master. Okay, but here's what's happening with the 76. The reason we had a nice gain was it wasn't any heavier. The plane didn't get bigger and heavier, but the motor got bigger. Now, the analogy I use is if you have a Corvette, we're going to look to bring this plane in at 65 ounces with a 90. If you have a Corvette and it's got the 283 engine and you take it out and put in a 427, well, there aren't many people that don't realize you can detune the engine, you can drive around in 4th gear, you can run a much lower state of tune that always equals reliability. It'll get friendlier to drive. It's always friendlier to drive a big engine. So what we're looking to do is, again, the same plane that used to be pulled by a Tiger 60, in fact, it's exactly what we're flying right now, is a plane where the cubic inches exceeded the weight by almost 50%. Now in this case, on a Fox 35, it was the opposite. The cubic inches and the weight were in an unfavorable 1-to-1. Somewhere around a 40 ship, it gets to be 1-to-1. But in these bigger ships, you get a bigger displacement to weight ratio. And that's where I think the gain will come from. That it'll look like a normal plane, it won't get bigger, it won't get a lot heavier, and it won't get a lot different looking in the pattern, but it'll be detuned to the point, once we come up with more exhaust systems, more head choices, and more people start working with this engine, and we can still have a lot of the good characteristics, like putting a 427 engine in a Corvette. It'll be a Corvette that's a lot easier to drive. Now, one other side benefit. In the case of Rich's Stuka, there's only one detracting feature of Rich's Stuka that if I was a semi-scale buff, if I was looking to make it as scale as possible. There's one thing really detracts from Rich's playing. It's the sound. Running the thing at a high RPM, the sound is nowhere near as scale as if you were running at 8400. So if it's going to be a semi-scale plane that Rich is building, there'll be an advantage in a lot of ways. He won't have to allow for the pipe under the fuselage. He can make this fuselage a lot more scale. The exhaust will come out where I think it's an optimum place, and Sergey Belko told me this. When it exhausts out here, it leaves a smoke trail. When it exhausts right under the high point of the wing, or just in front of it, the wing dissipates the smoke. And this plane that we're flying has almost no oil on it at the end of the day. It's a one paper towel wipe off. And the other thing is the smoke trail. Go look at the videos. There's almost no smoke trail at all. It dissipates that smoke beautifully. So these are two little, and if you go back and think about exhaust systems, that's the next thing we're going to be developing two things hopefully in the next week or so. We're going to be doing the Hemi heads and coming up with some exhaust system options. Every once in a while I go into this drawer because I had a lot of things, experimental things that I made years ago. Side to rear exhaust, and these were complex machine shop jobs. Craig Gunder made a lot of these. We have a lot. This was one of the ones we actually used at the Nats, this design, except obviously it's heavy. It's thick wall tubing. In fact, we could make a muffler out of this, and just, now that we have a lathe, thin wall it down. Some of these that are just complex. I don't even remember who was making them, but a bunch of different little wall tubings. Now Warren Walker is due here within a week, and he's going to be bringing us some tubing and some stuff, some billets. I had done this one and even tried to super lighten it up, another side to rear. But here's the point. In the course of making these, I've made a few exhaust systems, and I might have made more than most people, and maybe more than anybody. I don't know. That's up to you to decide. But we do know a certain do's and don'ts about exhaust systems. Now, no matter what the rules may be, these are always the rules, and there's not much you can do about it. A side exhaust engine will always have an advantage of getting rid of the exhaust heat no matter where you put it into the airstream, whether you make a tube muffler or a tongue. A side exhaust is really your best friend when you're looking to cool an engine. It's a tremendous difference than having a rear exhaust, especially when you don't have good airflow over the engine. But what we learned, and we're going to just reverse this for a little bit, when we make a rear exhaust, number one, we have to allow, and you've seen I put those pieces of wood on the plane to funnel some more air. This is the hottest part of the engine. This is the rear exhaust. The engine gets the hottest right here, and we've got that laser thermometer now, so as we're doing some of these tests we can find out what that critical temperature is. We also found out that the aluminum header, and if at some point in time here you put a rubber coupler and one of these little pipes that I made, the rubber coupler doesn't last forever like it does on a tuned pipe, and I don't mean forever, I mean 20 flights, a couple of days of flying and it gets really deteriorated. Warren Walker has given us some new tubing to test that's 500 degrees. We haven't had a chance to test it yet. But one of the things we're going to try to do is get these parts made out of aluminum. And now having a lathe and having Bob Zambelli come over, possibly in the next couple of days, give us a little lesson. We want to start machining up parts that we can make an all aluminum exhaust system. And we've set a goal weight of 1.5 ounces. I really hope I can do that. And I hope it's going to be a practical thing. Not sure if I can, but that's going to be my goal. Now, when we started making tuned pipes, the pipes of the early days, and remember this goes back into the late 80s, the pipes of the day, which were pretty crude to say it at least, they were way over 3 ounces. Many of them were 3.5. Some were even 4. Some of the original ones I remember weighing were 4. Well, we have them down now to where they're a whole lot lighter. A lot of them are under 40 grams. A lot of them are in the 1.5 ounce range. The modern ones. But the modern ones, I hope I'm going to be able to use that same technology to make an all aluminum exhaust. Now, this might even be obsolete in a week for a simple reason. Now, normally the resin we use to make the tuned pipes is rated for a constant temperature of 450 degrees once it's post-cured. That means, in theory, you should be able to leave it running all day long at 450 degrees without a problem. The problem is, right up here, if you've ever looked at any of your pipes, this front part really starts to get brown a lot quicker than in the back because the temperature up here is very hot. It gets cooler and cooler as you get to the back of the pipe. A lot of people don't know that. Well, if you were to take a header, and I've seen people do this, they don't want to shorten a pipe. So they cut this much off the header, put the rubber coupler up here, and immediately they have problems with life expectancy. So what we want to do, the objective of all this, number one, we could always just run a pipe. I mean, that's not out of the question either. But we might want to leave the option of running a pipe in the plane. But right now, in fact, we could even cut this plane of Jose's up. It's not like it's going to be the concourse winner next year or anything. But where this is getting better and better and better, and this is the part of what we do that I enjoy. I enjoy this a lot more than spending my life chasing trophies around the parking lot. This development now, Dubjet has come across an even higher temperature resin, and I believe it's 600 degree resin. I'm hoping that somewhere, and we're going to get a test on this within a week, we're going to be able to make some of these parts, and then I have to do a test bench day. I have to get all these exhaust systems out, get them on a test bench, get the thermometer out, and find out how close to the engine I can get before these parts start to show any signs of deterioration. But in the meantime, I want to have the option of having my next couple of exhaust systems all aluminum. But anyway, that's where we're going. But there's a couple of things that come into this, and this, again, this may be a little too complex. Maybe you're not even enjoying it, I don't know, but I wanted to get some of this on the tape. This to me is some of the things that'll help everybody have a better understanding of what we do. Even if you're not into this, just knowing how it works is interesting. Now, the idea of any exhaust system, exhaust comes out of the motor. Usually it's that very hot part of the motor. And there's several different ways you can quiet the sound. You can take a tremendous volume. You can take a soda bottle and just run the exhaust into a soda bottle. And what happens, all the sound waves dissipate. As the gas cools, as it expands, the sound waves dissipate. Another trick is you can make the wall of what you're doing able to absorb sound. As an example, copper and aluminum don't absorb sound well, carbon fiber does. It's why when you put a tuned pipe on a plane, even if it's a loud tuned pipe, it's still quieter than most. The other way you can make an exhaust quiet, and this gets real tricky, is you bend sound. You can take this pipe. We made one of these for the Typhoon. You can put a bend in a pipe, and supposedly, and I don't know if this is exactly true or George Aldrich told me this, that every time that sound bends around a corner you lose 90% of it, or it goes down by an amount. I don't remember the formula. It doesn't matter because it isn't the decibel meter sound that we're after. In other words, if you dB out a pipe and it's 95, another guy can have a pipe that's 94, another guy can have a pipe that's 90, and you can have one that's 84. And they can all have one thing in common. They can all be an annoying sound. And just to give you an idea of what an annoying sound is, there are certain frequencies that are annoying. Let me just explain this. Now here's an ordinary Dremel tool. If you do this test yourself, you just run it up, some 1,000 RPM. Now, as you go up in frequency, there are frequencies that are annoying. Now that very high frequency, if you listen to that for half an hour, you'll have a headache. So the point I'm making here is we are going to try to make a muffler that might have a dB rating of 90, but it's not an annoying because it's a low frequency. And think of beating a drum instead of playing a violin. A lot of times what you can do is you can still have a relatively high dB meter rating, but it's not an annoying sound. You don't have the sound, annoying sounds, a weed whacker. If you go by a, John, I'm explaining something. Let me just finish this. When you have a weed whacker sound where it's buzzy, a high RPM sound, it's an annoying sound. You can have a lower frequency sound that may be just as loud, but it's not annoying at all. And that's what we're going to try to do. Now, Rich is here to work on the Stuka, but I got a surprise for him. Okay, so you got the plan. Templates look nice. Now, this is a critical thing that we get these on exactly right. We got to cut up these blocks of wood at a 90 degree. They can't be cut at, you know, any angle you want. You got to have a 90 degree angle. So we'll set up, first thing is to cut, John can cut them, he's good with a saw. Then we got to get the wing dressed off on the edge and lay it on here. We could lay it on the other side. And then while one guy's holding it, we put the blocks all around the end. So when you take the wing out, it plugs on like an earmuff.
I'll take my jacket off.
Okay, let's go to work. Okay, so the first thing is we got one side glassed. We're going to make the templates. Get the template set, and then Rich will glass the other side of the wing. And once that dries, it's ready for its ride up to John Duncan's. Rich forgot that he glassed both sides of the wing already. Oh man, we're getting old, Rich. I gotta tell you, this being old's gotta go. Oh my God. You gotta strive for excellence. All the tape's gotta come off. And then we're gonna true. The next step is gonna be, we got a 90 degree block that Les made up. Gonna get all of the joints 90 degrees so that our earmuffs are gonna hook on each side. A system, by the way, just so you know, I invented. Another one of my great inventions. But it worked. Worked on a Tiger Cat. That Tiger Cat's still one of the best wings I ever made. Boy, that thing is flawless. Master wood carver. He's got his 90 degree square. Got all his blocks lined up. Is it still off?
Yeah.
Well, just adjust the table. And then when you're done, tighten that knob. No, loosen it a little bit.
Oh, then it's not.
Do it with a triangle. You got a triangle? Huh? Yeah, that goes out of square from us doing construction work on it, the thing and everything. I buy a Dremel tool and I use it like guys use a skill saw.
That looks like it's just off a smidgen.
Okay.
Let me see.
You know, Wendy.
Okay, just use the 90 degree block. Do it one way. That's a real important step, is getting that right at 90 degrees.
A little sanding block.
As long as you see a nice fresh sanding edge around the whole thing. Otherwise those templates don't sit up there nice and straight. See, because we're going to use that block when you put the dihedral angles in, so you always... In other words, you can't cut one side for a dihedral. You have to cut both sides toward a 90, or else the joint where it matches doesn't come out right.
I think we got it.
Okay,
Let's check. You have a square?
there's an easy way to do it. Take an ink marker, look, take an ink marker and just put an ink marker around the edge. And when you sand the ink marker off, you're done. Just dots. And then when all the dots are gone, you know you got a square edge. See, because if he doesn't do this, then when Johnny puts the template on there, if it's off to an angle, it's not going to be straight. I'm so glad you finally see the light with the 90. Because now you could really make this plane special.
Kent called me yesterday,
Oh yeah?
and we started talking about new projects. He's doing really well with his Spitfire,
Yeah, I know.
and he said, I'm finishing off another Strager.
Well, what has he got? 4 of them now, right?
Yeah, he's all, I thought he was all Stragered out, like me, but
Listen to this guy, John. Straight it out. He invented a new word. I got a new word for you. I heard on the TV this morning. You're an anonymous celebrity. See, You know, once you got all the pink dots off, the pink dots just show you the valleys where you didn't, it isn't perfect. Now remember, when we put these dihedral brakes in, we're going to have to make some accurate, like a template to hold this on an angle, and then you're going to sand. You're going to have to put all the angles in with the sanding. So what you do is when you come that day, bring some brand new sandpaper, like 80 grit or something, because I don't use that kind of sandpaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rough sandpaper, and then we'll finish it off with this. And if you have any of these blocks,
No, I know.
you don't? Okay.
This is old.
Oh, that's perfect. No, Les made that. That's perfect. Which side is crooked?
I don't know now. I cut a mess of them. I cut a mess of them so I was squaring them a little bit.
Don't make yourself crazy. In the worst of all worlds, what we'll do is we'll use the sides.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? We'll just do everything on the long way. So just cut them up. Don't spend.
Oh, okay.
You know, if they're. What I don't want to have is where they're off by 30 degrees. It looks like a schmazul job. You know.
No, off a smidgen, but
a couple.
We'll put them on the side.
We use the 90-degree part that they cut at the factory. A lot of people don't know. John used to be a mechanic, World War II mechanic on B-25s, right, John?
Right.
How many hours you got in B-25s? A lot?
Oh man, 3 years.
Hey, Warren Walker's supposed to be here next week.
Really?
Yeah, he went for a ride in a B-25. We had to look for that old video.
Oh, all right.
Got video of Warren flying around in the B-25. Well, I mean the P-51.
I think we got it.
The trick is you got to get it lined up, and I mean it's got to be accurate. That can't be off by a 64th of an inch.
What do you think, Johnny? Is it
I think
lined
it's-
up?
yeah.
Because as you lose it one way, you know, if it's wrong the other way too.
Okay.
Now once you get it in position, now we got to start gluing those blocks all around. See, your center line isn't lined up in the front? You got to get the center line lined up too.
Well, that's why I asked whether or not
Yep.
this was the right tip.
Yep. No,
They're both the same.
it's got to be the same. It can't beat it. There's a left and a right. They got to be identical.
Got to be the same tip. I'm not moving it.
Now the trick is, don't get, when you glue these blocks,
You moved it. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
don't put any glue up by the wing. You just put a drop in the back.
You glue the wing and that's it.
John, one drop, and put it right on a high point of the wing. That'll get you one. Then we'll do the front and back, and then you can just fill in all the gaps and make yourself, you know, just one drop. Because once you get it fit, then you can go around with thin CA. You take the wing out. There you go. And just put a slight bit of pressure, a tiny bit of, that's the tiniest little bit.
Just a little bit.
Let it kick normally. When that's done, Rich, get one in the back here and let John get one on his side, and you got it. You know, don't put the glue on the side that's touching the wing. We found that out the easy way. Put some thin C8 and try to get the wing out.
No.
Sorry.
Oh,
no, this is.
yeah. It wouldn't give.
Oh yeah, this is one of my finest moments when I screwed that up.
Welcome to the club.
Yep. Do you ever lay a piece of linoleum, you get to the last cut and it's an inch too small and you say, oh man, can't stretch this, can't do nothing.
That's right.
All right. What color's the linoleum you got for the shop? White?
Yeah, white and gray and brown. I don't know.
That's okay.
I got two
shiny.
Pieces. Yeah, it's shiny. I got
Shiny.
2 pieces that would take of you.
Just so we can see, you can't sweep that stuff up. I can't get
I know.
Just Rich, you got to take your time here. If you start hitting that with kicker, it's going to make a mess.
No.
Now the next one, get one up here. You see what I'm doing? And then just start filling in the gaps. And then you want to ultimately, he's going to take this tape off. Get one in the front, one in the back. You see what that wants to do? You want to have that it just plugs right on when you're done. You got that? Now while we were out there working on that wing, Scott Dinger called. Scott's going to be able to weld these up within the near future, so we're going to finish this part and maybe even make a second one just in case one of these, well, again, we'll see how time plays out. And Bob Zambelli's going to work on this muffler and make a bigger stinger for us. and I'll see if I can get Scott to make 2 of these, and we could use one for Rich's Stuka too. Then it's only going to be a matter of time before we'll have 3 or 4 or 5 good exhaust systems, and then we can do that bench test. Okay, and you just go one at a time, because all it's got to be is tacked in, Rich.
Yeah.
You actually could do this without the wing there, but then, see why you want the blocks to be nice and straight?
Yeah. Yeah, so you line up perfect.
Exactly. Now when he cuts, he's going to core this.
Yeah.
This is going to be the...
Yeah.
See, we couldn't figure out the first time, with these things so thin, and you put the pins in here, it's nothing. There's nothing to hold it to. This way it worked out perfect. And Johnny knows how to do this too. Well, you just look at the Tiger Cats like this. The Les, I think, had a wing done this way too. It worked out perfect. Now the nice thing about the way this works out is when you're done with it, and that wing is glassed and it's in the sun, you don't get all that rippling and bubbling and seams showing. And this one, Rich, when it comes time to do the finish, every time you sand the silver, don't skimp on that. You know what I mean? Don't give it one of those, Rich, this is good enough sanding the silver jobs. I notice he's quiet, huh, John? Mm-hmm. Because if this thing, if he's gonna not have a perfect finish.
Listen, we're gonna.
He's gonna kick my ass.
We're gonna let that be the talk of the Nats.
He'll find out what it is to be on. As soon as you have a nice plane, everybody hates you. You notice that? They're jealous. Oh, Jacobone. Oh, geez. Oh.
All right.
They start making things up.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was nice, yeah.
And the first DVD we'll send down to Gene Martin when it's done.
Hey.
I'll just put it in the mail like a ghost DVD from the ghost of seasons past. All right, they're going together nice. Now, once you get done with the first one, you can take the wing out, make sure the other wing fits in nice, a nice tight fit. And that fit in nice?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you could hit a little thin CA.
On the inside.
Just a drop, just a drop. Okay. Just so one of the blocks don't pop off. Then what you want to do is put this on the end of the wing and trace this to see that it's coming out perfect on the end of the wing. It's not canted off to one. Use a brand, I'll get you a brand new pen to do that.
This is 1B then, right?
And these have been coming right out of the mold.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell Gene that I was making a 90 Stuka. No.
Boy, and all we do is just add it to the list. Just put it over there, because when the aluminum parts come, we're going to have all the cones made, and then we'll do the final fitting. Every one will be hand fit when they're done. Now I'll prep the mold up. This is what the PVA looks like when it comes off. And I'll prep the mold up while Rich is finishing up these. Nice working in an organized shop, huh, Rich?
Yeah.
Now, when you get rid of that lawyer out of your the bunker, are you going to set up the shop?
Yes.
You're going to set up some tables, get John put some linoleum down and stuff? Then we can come work by your house, and I'll buy the salami sandwiches.
Why not?
You know, you could laugh all you want. Working in a nice organized shop, you feel like a big successful businessman, huh, Rich?
Exactly.
Made a salami sandwich today.
Exactly. Exactly.
John, I teach him everything I know. Everything. Took 10 minutes today.
That's nice.
That's fitting right in there. Now plug one in. You could plug that in.
Oh, yeah.
Now that one you could take off the table, John. Take the tape, plug it on, and trace out where it's going to get cored onto the wingtip. And you can see if you got it right in the middle, if it's symmetrical or whatever. That's the whole trick to this system.
That may need some more CA.
Now, if it's offset one way or another, all you got to do is put some tape on the side. What I'm saying, if it's...
But I think it may need some more CA on that.
Did you put
that much.
You didn't put the hot stuff?
No, just put one drop. Now here, here's the thin CA. Put one drop. Don't put a lot or else it's going to build up a fillet in there. And you got the last one cooking here. I'm going to go lay up another spinner while you guys are wasting my time here.
Pretty soon we're going to go for that salami sandwich for you.
Yeah, one salami sandwich per
wing.
Per set of templates here. At least John at least gets a soda out of it. Last time he buys me a salami sandwich, I didn't even get a soda out of it. You think I would have got a Snapple or something? Go to the bagel place today. You know, just before you get to Andrea's?
Yeah.
That bagel place where the Spanish people are, get bagels today.
You want bagels?
I want an everything bagel with
When
salami.
I used to get you bagels, you never used to eat them.
Listen, Porky, salami on an everything bagel. Okay, that's the last one. Now, you want to take the one that's already dry and done.
Yeah, that's done.
Plug it on the end of the wing and get a brand new pen. Here's a brand new pen. And run the, so you can see where you've, see that this is in the middle.
Right.
Just verify it.
Yeah.
Plug it on. There you go.
It fits like a glove.
It should snap right on like an earmuff.
There it is.
There you go. Look at that. It doesn't even drop off. Now press it on. It's easier if you, yeah, get it nice and flat. Put it on the floor.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, and keep the pen at 90 degrees.
Trace it out.
Trace it out with the pen. Don't lay the pen on its angle. Because the next time we see this wing, it's going to be caught out and it'll be ready for the dihedral brakes. Then we're going to need that drawing. Well, don't lose the drawing, or we're going to have to make another one up. And in the meantime, it's up to you to call this guy and get the, either get the landing gear or tell him
I'll
we're
give
putting him out of business.
I'll stay on top.
I'll
of it.
invent my own landing gear.
Well,
Well, we could do it, but if this guy's already making the parts, let's
yeah,
just
it's
buy
going to
it
be
from him.
easier.
Oh,
Sure, it saved me 2-3 days of making parts and templates and everything. And plus, you know, then you can go to Jose and steal his wheel pants when he's not looking.
No,
Jose, I'll go over to his plane. He'll have retracts.
I don't need his wheel pants.
Jose.
You know, this glue is still wet.
I know. So, okay, now let's see if it's, that looks pretty good. Okay, now you see, it should leave just the smallest amount of foam there. That's good. That's plenty. We know that. That's going to hold its shape nice. Okay, that's good.
I made some good templates.
I am very impressed. I'll tell you something. You know, not many impressive things have happened lately, but that's one of them.
And you mark the others after that dries.
Well, as soon as it dries.
Yeah.
Don't get glue on there. If you get glue,
Look at this. We have
okay. Now listen,
7 pieces left over.
listen. Do you want me to start making you up a muffler or not?
Well, I don't know.
Are you going to want to run a pipe?
I may want to run a pipe.
Okay. So, well, if you're going to make the plane for a pipe,
I want to make it noisy.
if you want to make it for a pipe, then you just let me know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
Because I want noise.
Oh, I want the sound that's out of the plane right now. I want that. That sounds like a Bearcat to me.
I want it to sound like NASCAR.
What does it sound like, John? I don't want it to sound like.
I like that 2-4 brake on it.
Oh, man,
That's
oh.
unbelievable.
We're
That's
gonna.
unbelievable, I'll tell
Well,
you.
I like the sound just the way it is, to be honest.
Rich,
I like
get
it a
busy.
lot better than a tuned pipe sound. That's for sure.
Rich, get busy and build them.
Well, I will.
Well, Scott's gonna weld this up for us,
All I
so.
have to do is get inspired, and I'm inspired now.
You're inspired now.
See, this,
Don't.
you know this glue isn't dry yet?
Well, if you hit it with kicker, it's gonna bubble up, and if it bubbles up,
No, leave it alone.
alone.
just let it sit.
Yeah. Leave it sit. Leave it sit.
Let it sit is right.
So Rich got his wing ready to go up to Johnny Duncan. That's on the way up to Johnny's. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. We made up 4 little test header mufflers, all different, for Scott Dinger. They'll go in the mail tonight with a bunch of DVDs for him, and we just got to see what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. And the main thing is, well, we just would need a flying day. I get up in the morning and all I want to do is get out and fly that 90. Now today we had one of these days that it looks like it's going to rain any minute, so what I figured I'd do is I have a couple little things I wanted to do in the next, I had it listed for a next rainy day. I wanted to get my bench cleaned up, and I want to put the coating of epoxy that pretty much the same as I have in the back room. And this stuff really makes for a nice tabletop. You wouldn't want to use it, say, on a glass tabletop, but just for a workbench where you want to, for instance, have these things stored. This is great stuff. I've really had good luck using this. And I want to do the wall behind it because I have the new Chickie picture just came in today. And we're going to get some frames. We have a new Chickie picture that John Pothier just cleaned up and took care of for us, and it looks pretty nice. And I've been on a mission that by the time building season actually starts, I want to have the shop really, really comfortable and really organized and really well supplied. And this will get me one step closer today. And we'll see what this looks like once we lay it all out. Now you couldn't make this up. Again, this is the way maybe your life goes too, but Bob Zambelli was going to come up here many times and several times to give me some little tips on using a lathe, bring some tooling up, kind of refresh my memory. Not that my memory ever needs to be refreshed, but paint worked out nice here. I had a little bit of paint left over, and I did some spots on here to door from touching it with epoxy. Now the only problem is, and you can imagine, you know, I'm so proud of my shop here. You can imagine one of the things that I screwed up on. If he's going to be here in 2 or 3 hours, this paint is going to be wet, so we may have to move the lathe just to do this demo. But I'm going to video the demo for anybody that may have just bought a lathe like this. And by the way, these lathes, I got this for Christmas last year. It's about $500. Dave Midgley, it's a Grizzly. And here's the funny thing, it comes with this instruction manual which tells you absolutely nothing. There's not a single thing. Now it'd be nice if you know, if Bob can give me some do's and don'ts and some tips and some, I don't know, we need some cut off parts. I was making end caps for mufflers for Scott Dinger, but again, there's nothing like having somebody that's willing to spend some time and that they do have a high skill level and they can pass it on to me. I can put it on a video and I can pass it on to you, and you could pass it on to, hey, maybe you're wanting a lathe for Christmas. I don't know, you know, you never can tell. Anyway, if we had the lathe while we were making a B25, for instance, we could have made the little nuts that go on the crankshaft, washers, spacers, extension units. What we really want to use it for now is we're going to be, well, like doing Hemi heads, and just thinking of 100 other little things. We're going to have a spare 90 crankcase here soon. We're going to try to lighten some of it up. Making up some of these mufflers and some of these modifications. Bob's going to try to modify that Sergi Belco muffler with a bigger stinger. A lot of things you can do if you have a lathe. Plus, in my case, I just like learning this stuff. Now, I thought it was, I said this, it's funny. I said, yeah, it's probably been 5 years since I used a lathe. And it was 1984. It was 25 years or something. But anyway, good news is this has held up well. We're real happy the way that just allows you, when you're doing some work, that finish, that Rust-Oleum finish is beautiful. Now that we'll have it on our vacuum bench, it'll just be just make this area easier to keep clean and neat. And I'll use up whatever the spare paint that I have left over here on things like painting the ducts to the furnace or something like that, or the door, something that doesn't really matter. But now the only downside of this paint is if you mix more than you need, which is what I did right here, you got to use it up in about a 2-hour time window, and then it gets a little hard to spread for about 2 hours. You can still spread it, but it gets a little on the sticky side. And next week, John DeTavio has promised me my new floor, so I want a shiny floor. This is a hospital floor that I don't even know what it's dull, and the paint sticks to it and stuff. And we're going to try to get a shiny floor, easier to clean as we get ready for the building season. So every time I make some little improvement here, I'm just thrilled that I've made it. It's amazing. Simple things make me happy, I guess. And every step of getting this shop in order, it's just going to make it more enjoyable. The 300 or 400 hours we're going to spend over the winter using it, we earn our living down here. It's our passion, our enjoyment, and our way of sharing our life with you.
You want to go...
What I want to do is replace this tube with 2 of these.
Okay. Now...
if possible.
You want the ID to be the same as the... In other words, you want a larger ID.
Well, I don't know if you can just drill this out. See, I don't know how... You'd have to...
Oh, yeah,
this comes apart, by the way. It's camera threads. Maybe he put Loctite on it or something.
Okay,
But
because
his other ones came
If
apart.
it is, that'll be easier yet, because maybe I can just make a new back. I can make camera threads on my lathe.
Okay. Oh, you got a camera thread option.
Well, what it is just a very fine. Don't you have that on yours?
I might. He gave me all the gears, but of course I don't know how to use it.
Okay. Yeah. What you do? Threads. No, you only go up to.
Up to 24.
Yeah. You won't
All
be
right. So
able to do
forget that.
Yeah.
But I know the front is camera threads. This part is camera threads.
Yeah. Now, do you really want it like this, or would you rather have them?
No, the idea is
Yeah.
that it spreads the smoke out in two directions, and this comes out right over the front of the wing. This is kind of his little invention.
Over the wing.
When I ran this, oh yeah, because it's got to go. It sits in the plane up on an angle.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it sat. I thought it sat below the wing like this.
No, and it's one of the things I want to test, just to see if it. In other words, all of these exhausts that I made wound up with 2 of these stingers. These are 425 ID.
Mm-hmm.
You can see, but this is for a 60.
Yeah.
But if you put this on the 90,
yeah.
Oh, it
Pulls it
crunches
back.
it. Oh man, it's like putting a potato in the exhaust.
Now, the one I did for you, the one I just reworked and sent you, is that good enough for the 90? Or does that hold the 90?
That's the jury's out on that yet.
Okay,
We
so
don't
it's
have
close,
enough
but-
time.
okay.
But I know with 2 of these, it's perfect.
Yeah, it won't be any. See, what
And if it isn't, you can always plug one
I
off.
won't use this. I make my own. All those,
Oh, okay.
The nipples that you see on those, I machine those from a block and cut the threads on them.
Then you don't even need that tool.
No,
Okay.
this, I got.
Well, lay it
this
in a thing here. Then you don't even need it.
brought, this stuff. There's more in the box.
I know. Now Bobby brought some stuff. We're gonna. Brian's gonna join us for a little lesson in refreshment.
Yeah. This I use.
See, this is the kind of stuff I could use. Is like chunks of tubing and.
This I use to make my prop washers from.
Right,
Whenever
right.
I make a prop washer, I always make it the diameter of the width of the prop. So in
Exactly.
other words, so remember those ones I made
Right,
from you? They
right.
won't sink in. But don't
The
ever.
threaded rods work perfect, by the way.
Oh, did they?
On the
Good.
90, yeah.
Yeah. What
We're using them, and I'm using your nuts too. They're perfect.
Okay, good. And I can make more. I brought you some hex stock to play
Okay,
with.
yeah.
The ones I made, this was just some scrap I had, but you can
Yeah.
just tinker around with it.
Our buddy Warren Walker is now in mid-country. His RV broke down. But he got to Albuquerque or something and it broke down.
What did you do? Buy a new one on the spot?
No. He's on his way. He's
that
calling every day.
When,
He'll be here next Sunday. If you want to fly up, I'll pick you up at Lincoln Park or.
Sunday. Yeah, I'm flying in the morning, but yeah, I'll fly up in the afternoon. If the weather, we're flying
Sure.
kids in the morning, but
How much is landing fee at Teterboro now? 25? Forget Teterboro anyway. It's probably out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the indexing, so you
Yeah,
can
'cause
put
see,
4 different tools
Yeah,
in.
sometimes they put a groove in it. So
Oh,
you can-
okay, right,
because
right.
the cutting tool itself, well, you're doing the right thing using a hacksaw, but you're right, it is a butcher job.
Well, it's a butcher job, and then you got to put it back in and dress it
Do you
off.
have a
It's a
center
nuisance.
for this?
Here's what I have, and you can figure out.
Oh, good.
I mean, I got accessories.
Oh, good. You got a
So
steady
this
rest?
is what I needed you to do, is,
Yeah.
and I got all the gearing, but I'm not interested in cutting threads right now.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to that.
Save
one.
that for a Christmas
See,
party.
this
or
is a
something.
steady rest if you're turning a long, skinny
Exact,
piece.
or a piece of tubing.
Yeah, you put that in and you just bring these in till they're just touching it.
Gotcha.
It keeps it from bowing.
Okay, gotcha.
I got the. I basically have a slightly larger version of this lathe.
When I started this up, this was about as idiot-proof as you could make it.
This indicators table 16. We got to figure out that they always translate these things. You can go up to 52 threads per inch. We'll have to measure what that one is. But what I'll do is, I'll just make a whole new rear end for that thing. That will save the old one. And
Oh, okay.
if I can't cut the threads here, I can cut them at work.
See, now a lot of these
Yeah,
things.
this is a faceplate.
Okay.
You take this off.
Right.
You take this off, and this goes on.
And you can put like an engine case or something in there.
Yeah, and they give you. You have to. If they don't give them to you.
Oh, here's some more tools. I didn't even see these. Is one of these one of the
No,
ones?
they're not cutting tools. They're not cut-offs. But see, these are carbides too. Now this is not. That's tool steel, and this is carbide.
Okay.
That's a piece of carbide, and what you do is you just custom grind it to whatever angle you want. But you got to use a
Okay.
diamond wheel. But you know, for the work you're going to be doing mostly aluminum.
It's all aluminum and wood.
This is fine. Aluminum.
And dowels or something, you know, like those things where you need to take apart features in a plane.
Right.
And if I needed something exotic, I'm going to call you anyway.
Exactly, I'll make it for you.
You know, so all I need is the basics. And most of all, a way of cutting off things when you're done machining them.
Right. Now here's your center. See what you'll do with this. I got to get you some center drills too.
You want a pair of gloves? So you don't get greased up?
Like grease.
Oh, okay. All right. So, see, this is the... Midgley was going to do this, but of course he's busy with his boat. He's being introduced to the world of old boats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he bought an old boat, supposedly. I don't know if he's just kidding with me.
An old boat is?
Yeah.
It's a hole in the water where you throw money.
Yeah. Well, I have no idea what if he's kidding me or not. Maybe he's just kidding.
Can you hand me one of those papers? What you'll do, if let's say you want to turn this whole piece down, you'll take, you know, they don't give you a...
There's a chuck. You want to...
Oh, you got a chuck.
Yeah, let's put the chuck in, because then you can put a spot in here. That's what you want to do?
Yeah.
And then run your centering tool in it. See, there's stuff that here it is, up on top.
Oh, okay. You got
and I got the thing from Midgley to make washers now, too, so that if you ever want to make some special, like aluminum washers.
We should have
Is this the chuck key here?
No, that's the arbor.
Okay.
See, the chuck goes onto that.
Okay.
And it's a tang. But
he was explaining to me on the phone, grind this, do this, bolt this. I said, you know, just come down. What's the big deal? Yeah, that may still be sticky.
I'm not touching it. I just...
Yeah.
Let's
pull it, move it.
Okay.
I purposely didn't make it a permanent place, so we could be walking. I didn't even know if I was going to want to use it here. But make it that it's comfortable for you, of course. I thought maybe I'd put it on a dedicated table somewhere, you know, that you could just...
Yeah, something nice and rugged. I would do that.
Yeah. Do you have yours bolted down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'll...
Some heavy...
what did you do? Just put screws in the corner, drill it, and...
Oh, if it does...
It doesn't have holes.
Oh, yours is... Okay. I would leave it just set then, if it doesn't have a... what I need is a large screwdriver. I need large...
Yeah, we got a large screw. We have everything probably but the one you need. That's big enough, or...
That's good enough, that's fine.
Love old tools. I love tools that look like they're older than me.
You would like my grandfather's barn. Oh man, he had tools that wooden handled screwdrivers are all split.
When Karen goes antiquing, I look at some of these old saws and I think some man probably every day for 30 years used that same saw to cut.
Yeah.
And the planes, those old planes.
Wood planes, aren't they something? And they had to know how to sharpen them. They didn't go to Home Depot.
No. They didn't. They were.
We'll get this on here that way.
All right, so let's see what you brought. Okay.
I just brought the
old carbon tank. Yeah, let's see.
Thing I'm building. I don't know.
Let's see. Put them out on the floor.
How'd the contest go, by the way? I missed it.
Oh, wait. They had 22 experts.
Yeah, they went well.
This is the Hawker.
Oh, trike gear, yes, Hawker Hunter.
Anyway, this is what I'm dealing with. I want to do the rear exhaust on it, you know?
Yeah.
To incorporate the gear. Now, I think this exhaust on that engine we're talking about comes even lower, so.
You did a hell of a job with those plants.
I think you should put a 90 in it and quit screwing around.
Did you do that or by hand?
But it's. What was that?
Did you draw those by hand?
No, this is kit
this
plans.
Is a kit. This is RSM kit. I just bought.
Oh, I thought you just drew the plant.
It's based on a Shark 45, but Bob Whiteley made it look like a jet, like a you know the jet from James Bond, that thing.
Hawker Hunter, which is a British, you know.
Oh, I'm familiar with the Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, he had a cool paint job on it too. It was like all different shades of green.
That Shark 45 is a good flying airplane.
Yeah, this is a cool looking plane, bro.
Yeah, so like I said, I just want to come with a 76 rear exhaust, maybe dump it over here, you know, one way or another. We'll know what better will go. So
Well, I just this morning sent your exhaust out to Scott Dinger to have it welded. I made a 76 one up. If it fits, you know, so you'd have one to test fit.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to borrow the one out of a plane we're using.
Looks
so
a
you
lot
can.
like the sweeper from the side, doesn't it? Look at
Yeah, it's a jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
You could make that nose gear up all cool
this
too.
is classic legal, so I can fly this in both. This is going to do me instead of having two planes.
Who
It flies
designed
like
this
I
one?
will. Where did I get it from?
Oh, what? Designed by White.
Bob Whiteley.
Usually these unscrew, they come off somehow. Make yourself a little get a piece of brass or copper and turn it.
Oh, so you want a
can have
brass.
a soft-faced hammer.
Okay. You don't want to hit that and then mush it out and mushroom it out.
Always make sure anything on a lathe, if you're tapping with a hammer, make sure the hammer's softer than what you're hitting.
I gotcha.
That way you won't ding the ways or anything like that. And this, you'll never have to take it apart. This will go in. You have to bring that thing out about 1/4 inch.
Okay, I
Otherwise
gotcha.
this tang won't clear. In fact, it may not clear.
Now, like when you're making a Venturi, you can put the drill in there and chuck up the Venturi and just run it. Like revert, the drill stays.
Is that threading into there?
No, it's supposed to go in, but see, some of these, they don't have clearance for the tang. This one doesn't, so that tang's got to come off.
Okay.
Which is no big thing, but in other words, you can't use this drill until you
cut that off.
Grind it off?
Yeah.
I'll grind it off after lunch.
I even got I got my wizard. If you're gonna hook it.
Yeah,
through
whiz
there.
wheels. That's a trick to do.
What are you talking about?
It's
A
just
wizard?
you know the abrasive cutter.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Hook up
yeah.
Your air compressor. I got it in the car. So
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, we could run it. I got the
I
compressor.
turn wrenches for a living. We use them all the time. So.
Okay, you know that. I'm going to get you more stock. I'm also going to get you a center. There's a special drill called a center drill, and you never ever start your cut
With a drill.
with a regular drill. There's your close-up view of the. See how it's got a head that, and all it does is it starts the hole, and then it just bevels it. So you get a little lead in. Then you can go in with your, the next size large.
I remember that from Joe K. Always starting a hole that way, just
Center.
zzz, and then you know it's on center.
So you'll chuck your center drill in your Jacobs like so, and then you'll come right into the end here.
And just put a little dot.
Yeah. Now, if you want to use the dead center, take your center drill in until it's almost out to the full diameter. See, you've got a taper there.
Right. Okay.
That'll match this, and just put a little. The other thing you want to do.
Put a drop of oil on it.
Yeah, get yourself a film can, and just glue it on here. Put a little brush in it, and put some grease in it.
Oh, okay.
Or
Right.
better,
Chicken grease, I've heard.
chicken grease. Or if you're going to cut metal, believe it or not, Crisco works real well.
The guy that used to work for us, he'd come in with a can of chicken grease for doing this.
Fat is,
yeah, now whatever the reason
and
that
it
is.
smells good. No, it's a good cutting oil.
All right, Brian, go get us some chicken. There's some chickens out in the barn.
And it's in. It's not going anywhere.
Okay.
You can't get it out, but if you want to get it out, just back this off. Watch.
And it ultimately pushes it out.
Because there's a little part in the end. Watch.
I got you.
It just
It pushes it out. Okay, so one tap with the soft
So this
hammer
is
gets
a
it
taper.
in.
Oh, this is
Yeah,
a
there's a
taper
Morse
too.
number 2 taper. Usually they're marked MT2. So this is a number 2 Morse taper, and that just gives the angle. They're both the same.
Except
only-
this thing's got the tang.
Exactly.
Brian will whiff that off before the day's over.
Yeah, see, the reason they have a tang is a lot of the older drill presses, they had a taper, and there was actually a slot to transmit more.
Oh, okay,
So
right,
the tang
right.
went into a slot.
I got
And
you.
then on the side of it, there was a vertical slot in the housing, in the spindle.
Gotcha.
And you drove a wedge in. You had a steel wedge. You put the wedge in, tap with a hammer. That would pop this out.
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's old. Yeah, see, this is definitely not going to do it for you.
Well, we can do that.
No, we-
anytime. You gotta fire up your AC air compressor.
Yeah, yeah. But you can't go. You really can't do it unless you can do it down here.
You want to turn something larger than this. You've
Okay.
got to go to these that you see they're the opposite. the
Okay,
opposite
right.
step. And when you put them in, they'll come out one at a time, and they're usually numbered. That's 2, 1. This should be 3. Okay, so you have the first number, and you have to correlate the numbers because you can't just put them in anywhere. That's what they don't tell you in the instruction book.
Yeah, they don't tell you much in that little book.
No,
believe me,
exactly.
it's a comic book.
Yeah. So here's what you have. You've got.
Well, what do you do? Like a clock? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah. You start at number 1, and usually they're marked, but this. Oh, there it is.
Okay, it's marked inside.
Yeah.
Okay, and 1 goes with 1, 2 goes with 2.
Right.
And turn it clockwise, I guess.
I can't remember now.
And what's the reason for that? The way the thread works?
Yeah, because it's not a thread. It's actually a scroll. It's a metal scroll. That
Okay,
and
gotcha.
it goes
Okay.
in like this, and it pulls them in.
Okay, so 1, 2, and this is 3.
Yeah.
So
Now-
if you have them in wrong, it's just not going to work.
It's not going to
just gonna
center.
bind up.
It's not going to center. So
This is a
But I mean,
2B,
it's going to be fairly obvious, I would imagine.
1B.
It's not going to be with the size of those teeth. The thing will be.
Oh yeah, well, as soon as you put it together, you'll see if one of them's off.
Yeah, I would imagine that Aluma weld stuff. If you try to machine,
Now they're all, and this is how you can tell. You run them all in. you see
Okay, and they're all even.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
see, that's the kind of information that isn't in the book.
It is definitely not in the book.
No, I'm laughing. This company for $500, they could give you this DVD for what it costs to print that book up, and they don't do it.
Grizzly, huh?
I mean, even this paint, Brian. When you use this epoxy paint, you get a DVD with it showing you how to use it.
Oh, they're giving you DVDs with
A
everything.
DVD. She bought the sewing machine, the baby locks.
Yep.
You get a 2-hour DVD.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Do you have by any chance, a little engraving bit for your Dremel?
Sure.
Let's do this. We'll make a little mark. See what I'm going to do, rather than you having to just guess where they go.
Right. No, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it'll really help to let's see what.
Yeah, identify. Put a ding on one of them right on that. Too.
Yeah, see this will go like so, and now
Put the 3 up there.
exactly.
Good idea. Yeah, I can't believe that they sell you a $500 tool and they can't put a DVD in that shows you how to work it.
Well, see if you look at this.
Yeah, they're just slightly off.
Exactly.
Because they sit on a spiral.
They're just off enough so you can't interchange them.
Yep. Yeah, I can see they're like.
See?
Yep. And that thing that's on the chuck key is a spiral.
They call it a scroll, actually. It's
Okay.
and it spirals in.
Right.
But you can actually see it there. Look.
When
see?
you turn one, they all turn. Oh, I see.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
it is,
they
the
all
scroll
turn.
Goes
You
around.
tighten all 3 at the end.
Now the next one that
Yep.
comes out will be number 2.
And a 3-drawer chuck usually keeps it pretty well centered.
Exactly.
But a 4-drawer, you got to center it yourself.
Yeah, but you can get it dead on. The ideal thing is collets, but they're expensive as hell. See, this is number 2, and that's the second one to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And the last one, of course, is number 1. You turn it until, see the spiral in there till it goes away, till you'll see one, all of a sudden,
There it
see,
is.
it's
Okay.
gone. So now what you do is you find
One.
one goes in.
Okay, as soon as the spiral goes away, one
Exactly.
drops in.
What spiral are we looking at here?
They'll let Brian get in there and look at it. You can see when you look in the top.
Watch the two, see the two
Oh, okay,
goes
okay,
away?
so it opens up.
Exactly,
So
it
the
opens
last-
up, so you drop in
slide
number
that in.
1,
Okay.
then you start turning this clockwise.
And
Got to bring this over.
it'll be
And-
open to catch that, right?
It'll open to catch it all on the first
Then you have to go to
spin
number
around.
2. And you keep your fingers on them like that so they go in at the, to make sure you're catching. And anytime you're in doubt, just run them in all the way, and you'll see they'll all come flush at the same time. You notice they're flush to the outside.
Yep, yep.
Of course, now what you have to do is you got to go back.
Until this one pulls out, basically.
Yep.
The other one is still locked in at that point.
Yeah, so all you do is you look for the spiral to go away,
yeah.
and you drop in number 3, which is this one. And then you just hold it with 3 fingers and just rub it in. And once again, you always double check to make sure that they're all even with the ends, see? So now
That's not.
Now we'll do the other teeth too. See these teeth here. Oh, another.
You have inner
also-
teeth and outer teeth.
Right.
Is that the whole deal?
Yeah. See the outer teeth. Well, you'll see the outer teeth hold here. So if you're turning something
I
large.
gotcha. I gotcha.
And also on these, if you're turning a piece of tubing, you can put the tubing, catch a tubing on the inside.
On the inside, right.
So what we'll do is we'll take.
Well,
take
Brian's on mandate to find us some 2-inch thin wall aluminum tube in an aluminum chair store.
2 inches.
As soon as he goes, and,
That's some heavy tubing for a chair, right?
no, but if you found thick wall tubing, you can turn it down.
And here's what I suggest you do. Put them like this. Just put a rubber band around them.
Right.
Keep them like that. You got 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
Now we're going to do the other ones, the same thing.
I'll get a rubber band right now and do that.
And if you want
It's
to,
tolerant of all this stuff falling on, huh?
what's that?
All the metal shaving.
Oh yeah, that's
You
yeah.
know, just
And if
self-cleaning.
to find to find the scroll, you don't really have to even look in there.
You can just turn it until it falls in.
Exactly. So what you do is you put your finger here and watch. You turn it like that.
At some point in time, it jumps up. I got you.
It jumps
I
in.
got you.
Now you come in this way.
And now wait to go to the next drawer.
Exactly. So, and now we'll find number 2, which is the first number of the sequence here. Number 2.
Yeah, that's a good idea to have it right on there where you can see it.
Exactly. It really.
You wonder why they don't do that at man.
South Bend does. I got a South Bend at home. Everyone is stamped.
Is it a but that's a professional thing. This is like a hobbyist thing.
It's also made in the States.
I don't think Dub Jet has one of these in his shop. You know what I mean?
Probably. Oh no, this is strictly a hobbyist lathe.
Yeah. No, I mean you wouldn't do big production things on this.
You couldn't. And you see now they're all flush. So we have. We'll engrave 1. Numbers.
Right, beautiful. Yeah, that's.
And as you can see, come around this way, and you can see how big a piece.
Be right there, Car. Okay, lunch is calling us.
You see how big a piece you can grab now.
Right.
And when you bring them all the way in, that's about the smallest you can do. So you could probably do, what's that, maybe an inch?
Yeah.
7/8 of an inch.
You couldn't run anything dead in the center there because they all.
Actually, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could run something in the center too.
You could put a piece of anything.
You may want, but the nice thing is now you can change them quickly.
Yeah.
So you rubber band these together, and this is the kind of thing the ideal thing would be get some of those pegboard, a little shelf or a little.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Well, I'm going to get one of these organizers that has and mount it up on a pegboard. Mount it up there.
And set the thing.
I got a nice bar strip magnet if you want.
Yeah,
that's handy, aren't they?
Yeah, that's good.
I got one. I got one sitting. I had 2. I'm using 1. I got one sitting at home. If I remember, I'll give it to you.
Well,
it's about 2 foot long. And
you know the other thing with this lathe, once you start playing with it, you find things to do with it.
Oh, absolutely.
You find little jobs, little things you can make.
Now, if you wanted to buy some kind of accessories for this, are these universal type things? How about like the Harbor Freight stuff? I mean, that's all the cheap lathes.
They're all made by the same company. They just have different names.
There's a Harbor Freight opening up eventually.
Yeah, I bet Harbor Freight, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've looked in it many times. They got all kinds of mini loads.
Granger has everything too.
So this should be the... Yeah, so there's your feed. I like this though. That's nice. And if anytime you want to change speed, that's high speed. Go back here, shift, and if it doesn't shift, just wiggle this a bit. You see that's a low speed.
Okay. It drops the gearing down.
Exactly, just a 2-speed gearbox. Then if you want to reverse it.
Oh. Okay, let's eat.
Okay.
Karen made a beautiful lunch for us. Us professional machinists.
It doesn't go backwards.
Where's your chair, honey?
Nothing. So you have this thing at 0, off, go forward.
Now you have to stop
Turn it off, go to center.
And then go reverse. Okay. See, I never used it in reverse yet.
And let's say you're working on the thing and you get your tie caught in or something like that. Just hit that.
Right, that's your emergency shuttle.
Yeah.
And by then your neck's in it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest.
And you're still yelling that.
You probably don't work with long sleeves, a channel shirt, a tie, a bowler tie.
Now you see, once you've hit it,
no watches and rings.
Yeah, once you've hit it, it won't do anything until you come back. You hear a click. That resets the breaker.
Okay, gotcha.
Go forward. So that's a nice idea, really, and you can't turn it on again by mistake. You have to reset.
Right. No, it's a good safety thing, especially with hobbyists. I mean, if Brian and one of us is going to cut a finger off before the week's out here.
That's why we
Make
got
sure
10 of them.
Safety glasses by all.
Yeah, I've got them. I've got them.
And avoid anything.
And no rings and watches.
Exactly. Yeah, and especially not like
no ties, no long sleeve shirts.
Guys working over with their badge, you know.
Oh.
I mean, you ruin a good badge that way. You think badges grow in trees?
My pack is
Oh, look at this! Look at this! Oh. Yeah, get the food off the table, baby.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Brian, you'll make a great maitre d'.
Putting food on.
What are we here for? Oh, nice wheels.
These are those new lightweight. They for electric. John's starting to work on.
What I need is those wheels in 6-inch diameter for my 4-stroker.
For a 90.
For the 90, yeah.
This was designed by Walt Musciano back in
Right,
the 70s, and he calls it the Red Hot Angel. So I went to Walmart and I found a little angel doll, or a little doll rather. I made the halo out of a piece of
cool.
and I put Cedar's wings on her, little white angel wings in the back. And you should, absolutely, yeah.
For Control Line World, that's good. And you got the camera to take the pictures and everything too.
I've got a bunch of pictures already.
Cool.
This is a soda.
This is cool on a wingtip. I like that.
I think there's something to the end plates. Something about this.
Yeah, cool.
This is from a soda bottle. I just cut out a little piece and put it on. And see, there's a single.
Now Walt's still alive, right?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he lives in Lodi.
He lives in Lodi. Why don't we go see him?
Because that's the town I live in, and I read it somewhere that
Brian lives in Lodi.
That's right off. What's it? 46 goes through there. Is it 46? Yeah, 46 goes. There's a little apartment complex.
Call him up. Let's go see what he's got.
Delaware Glen. And
Susan Stone, reminds me of Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci, yeah.
Yeah, I see him. That's what I
Joe Pesci with hair.
So, yeah, it was like you got this, big head of hair on.
I had more fun building this thing. Now I'm molding all the lead edges now. I just set the ribs on carbon rods, wet the lead edge, and stick it over, and then just.
It's a nice way to build.
Light, because you really don't need the lead edge.
No,
stick there.
you're not going to have some gorilla launching a plane with.
It is nice and light though.
Did you use that on a big Cardinal, or you just carved it? On the big Cardinal, the yellow one.
The molded leading edge?
Yeah.
No.
No.
The big one. That was.
Midgley did one where he molded the he molded the leading edge on one of the big Cardinals that he made.
I did on a little Cardinal. Oh, more news. You know the little cardinette I made?
Yeah.
We now have an ARF. I have the prototype ARF at my house.
All right.
I'm going to evaluate it, and if everything goes right, we'll be.
Now, if it was a better flying day, we'd be out flying this puppy.
Yeah, we flew on windier days, right? We flew this thing.
Well, yeah, but we didn't go there. It got crappy, and we were already there. We got suckered into it.
A pattern master then.
Yeah, take a look at the engine, though.
Holy, that's a 90.
There it is, baby.
This is another exhaust.
Did you make that?
That's another one, yeah.
Did you make that?
Well, that's with this crazy solder that lasts some amount of time anyway.
Did the other ones fall apart yet?
No, the back came off. Yours is still in one piece. The back came off. I just pinched it with a vise.
Yeah, but you only have one stinger when I saw it, right?
Yeah, I put the second one on. It's better with the two stingers than
That's
one.
a bar stock too, isn't it?
All bar stock, yeah. It bites too. Bobby, when it bites, it really hurts. Trust me.
Nice fit though, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a heavy engine?
That's our new spinner too. That's the carbon fiber spinner.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the first ones.
Now, is this the one I made you the prop nuts for?
Yep, they're already on there.
Great.
The rod, the prop nuts, all your stuff's
Now,
on there.
did I go 5/16 all the way through, or did I go 5/16 on one and quarter 20?
A quarter 20 on the front.
So you got you got the standard.
That's right. It's 5/16 down here and quarter 20 out
so you got
the front.
Standard, this is standard Froome or whoever makes it.
No, Midgley has a guy. Well, we got a couple of these from the original spinners that we had that we made the mold from. But he's making this piece and this piece. We're gonna get. I don't know how many he contracted for, but and then I'm gonna fit the spinners in, put them in a lathe, and dress them all off real nice before I sell them.
That's nice. That'll complement the Brodax spinner.
8,400 RPM.
Wow.
Boy, does that.
Now, did you mold this prop, or is that one of the?
That's Doran's. Doran's 8,400 RPM.
You think that back sweep makes a difference, or is it more for?
I don't know. It works. I mean, I don't know how you could test it legitimately, like without a wind tunnel or something.
What are you powering the Spitfire with? Is that the 76?
The 76 is in the Spitfire, and Brian's going to have the 67 as soon as we...
67.
What are you going to do, pull out the 67 out of... What plane are you going to put it in?
Oh, the plane I'm building, if you want...
Oh, okay, yeah.
A 76, a 67...
The 67 is a long stroke engine made for no tune pipe.
Okay, and how's this timed? Is this time more for the...
It's low RPM.
Okay,
long
so
stroke.
You don't need a tune pipe then, really?
Nah.
This has probably got so much torque that...
Oh, believe me, this has 9 head gaskets in it. And it still bites.
Wow. And this is the one you want to run a straight synthetic?
Yeah. Oh, it's never had a drop of castor oil in it at all. None of the road jets have any castor oil in them.
No, if that's the ticket...
And I've never had one fry or anything either. See, I need bigger wheels. You can't clear a 15-inch prop. These are.
Oh, so you got
We
the
need some
4-blade.
big Cub wheels.
We need like the Piper Cub wheels.
13.
14.
That's a 14.
14 4-blade.
So if you went to a 2-blade, what would you have to use? Like a
Oh, a
15
17 or something. Yeah, something crazy. No, this is like the part of what makes this engine work so well is this prop. This prop is married up to that engine real well.
8,400 RPM.
Yeah, just so I didn't forget it. Because we were trying higher RPM and lower, and it likes right around 8,400 is where it's real. You can see how nice and free that is, boy. That's.
Yeah, I remember all the ones I've seen of his. They just the piston will just about fall on its own.
Oh yeah.
Broken in.
Yeah, they're nice.
Would you say this engine's pretty much broken in, or it needs some more time?
Not when I'm done with it. It won't,
No, I mean
need
now.
more time.
No, I mean you think it's.
We got 3 gallons through. It's on the 4th gallon.
It may not even be totally broken in yet.
No, it could be. Yeah. No, and Al Raby had a gallon through it too, I think.
Oh, so Al's played with this engine.
Yeah,
Is this
yeah. When
the
I got
only
it,
one?
there's only one. There's only one, and that's it right there. It's not in production yet. I got 3 heads for it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stock one. I got 2 different other heads to try as soon as we get some flying time.
You mean the button part of it, right?
And Scott Dinger has a bunch of these mufflers, shorter, longer, stingers in a different spot. Just so we'll give those a
Who's
try.
that, Scott who?
Dinger.
Baby Clown ARF.
Now this is an ARF, right?
Yep.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
the new Brodak 049.
Yeah, I saw this too on the internet. Yeah, with
Yep.
that.
And it
I'd rather
uses
have
a
mounts
normal
like
glow plug. Boy, that's an
Normal
asset.
glow plug.
Yeah.
And this is built by the same guys that are building the 40.
Okay.
And this is similar to we're going to have 1-inch aluminum spinners. Now that spinner will come off.
Yeah,
But
that
it's
feels nice.
Yeah. The crank on this is about the size of a Fox 15.
Wow.
But see, the old Flying Clown had a radial mount.
Right.
But since most of the new engines, as you can see, are beam mount.
Right.
Isn't that cute? Look at that.
Yeah, it's as cool as. And you could put a muffler. You could make a little.
You could, yeah, but it's not that loud. This is aluminum with a nickel flash on it, so it's actually a true AAC engine.
Okay.
So it's got a silicon aluminum pit. This thing weighs as much as a TD-049, 1.7 ounces. And these are the wheels John's going to use. The same.
I love these wheels.
You can get them at the hobby shop now.
Yeah, I know. But
they're using electrics.
the biggest ones I've seen are 3-inch. I have 3-inch downstairs.
Okay, I haven't seen them that big.
What I need to find is somebody who makes 5s
Donuts,
or 4s,
yeah.
just to do prop testing.
Right. This took me a little over an hour to put it together. And I made the hinges out of monocoat. The hinges that he gives you with it is flex hinges. I really don't care for them, so I made
So you just use monocoat.
monocoat hinges. It
Yeah,
works fine. I haven't flown it yet. I mean, this is. I
Well,
just put
fire it up. My neighbor's not home. We'll go fly in his
Yeah,
backyard.
I'm going to have to get going. I'm going to get dried down.
Brian's not home. We'll go fly in the backyard.
And this is the one I built.
Can launch it right here and just
This
keep
is
going.
this is the one I
Doing
built for the
eights.
Musciano event.
This is one of Walt's designs?
Yeah, this is. They call it a hollow log because the fuselage is solid balsa. You
Oh,
hollow it
okay.
out and everything. But this, believe it or not, this does most of the pattern.
Wow.
Most of the AMA pattern. And remember the OK Cub?
Yes, yes.
OK Cub 049, reworked by me, and I got a lot more power out of it by mainly cleaning it up. But I just got a first place with this in stunt at the Musciano
That's very
event.
cool. Yeah, very
This
cool.
is fun stuff. The wing is 1/8 inch, covered with silk, and the wing, when I pull on bottom is square, the wing is like this.
It's like Junkyard Wars.
But it actually will do most of the pattern.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
I like the little cardinette. That's
Oh,
my
I'll tell you,
favorite.
That's a sweetheart.
When you were flying that up by us in Pal Park, you set the
That
tone
had a
for fun.
four-stroke in it. That was really
Yeah,
cool.
that was nice.
I had the problem with the Brodak 25 when I flew it out of Brodak's, the engine isn't broken in yet.
Oh,
I couldn't
it's
get
new.
You know how you don't get a
Right,
I don't think
right.
there's I bet you there isn't a half a gallon through that engine. That's not enough.
No, you got to have some fuel through there.
Exactly. So
Now we had a great visit, and the next step here is going to be tomorrow. Put the clear coat on this. Bob Brookins clear coat. He also got that bench done. Get everything back organized the way it was. We have a little bit better understanding of how to use the lathe, and a little bit nicer, I don't know, I just get nicer bench work here. And tomorrow is the week 1 of the Circle Burner contest in Pal Park, and we just hope we have some good weather. Really want to get at the reason for getting up early. Look how orange this tree is turning out to be. We really wanted to get out there really, really early today, just so we could get a couple of flights before the crowd gets there. This is actually the first morning the cars have a frost You can see what we've got. Frost on the pumpkin, so to speak, as we get ready to go out. Whoa, look at it, New York City skyline. Red skies in the morning. It really is supposed to be a nice day. I really hope we're gonna have a good day for a contest today. It is really a special treat for me to get up in the morning. I just love having coffee early and getting out to the field. Oh man, look at that skyline. And you can see we have had some rain in the past few days, but our part of the field's actually pretty good. Buddy Weed is practicing. Rick Campbell's already down here. It's early, the sun is out, and what happens, the sun reflects on these buildings. It's a little disorienting early in the morning. Neil Beekman's putting in a practice flight. You know, it looks like the guys are starting to roll in here nice and early, and it looks like it's going to be a good day. What we're going to try to do today is get some 90 test flights in between when nobody's practicing. They have 2 circles open, so maybe we could sneak over to the other circle. And today they're flying, I think, Nostalgia and Old Time Stun and Pampa, but I'm not sure. We'll find out when the boss gets here, the CD. Neil Beekman, for anybody that doesn't know, is really one of the true heroes of 9/11. He was honored at Brodak for his voluntary work, and we all know he is a real hero. And we were hoping some of the guys from Flushing were going to come out and fly to 90, Lampione and Jose and them, but not sure if they're going to make it or not. We'll just have to play this all by ear. Okay, Rich, this is Sunday, the day of the contest. These guys are practicing up with their Nostalgia planes. I want to get a couple of flights on the Doran's 4-blade. I'll try to get them on video. The sun is right in a very precarious spot. Nice conditions.
When everybody started moaning, I thought you'd feel like you lost tension. I'm going to do a wind. Go ahead over. It's turning this way, right? And guess which way I'm running? We'll just have to fly to 90 ship in the run the opposite way. Now I know. So I'm running with it. Catch what? Catch the wind. Get it. And that's only that.
stuff. Because you got a lot of old heavy planes laying around that never really performed.
That plane looks like it flies beautiful.
And that engine ain't working at all, man. That thing's a lumber.
Richard, how you doing, Richard? That looks like it flies great. Yeah, it's such a big motor though.
You like the way that runs?
Yeah, it's not fast or anything.
Tell Jose he's a pussy for not showing up and flying it. Hey, Rich.
How are you?
Yeah.
Modesto's first plate on the 90.
Stevie, how much clearance does he have on that by the building? Enough?
Oh yeah, looks like that. Looks like he's got a foot of clearance.
Wandering and I don't notice it.
right, Rich, this is the first time Jose's getting to fly it, so give him a little time to dial into it. It's his plane. Time to get the shirt for it. Try to get Jose's comments at the end of the flight for you, Rich. has an unbiased opinion. He got a flight on his plane. What a jewel.
Right. Rich.
And he said that engine makes no power at all.
I'm telling you, this thing flies. It runs just like a Tiger 60, but it's more subtle. It is more predictable, more power overhead, because I flew the same airplane at the Nationals with a Tiger 60. And at the Nats, it even pulled harder than this setup does now. And the plane turns better and the CG's further forward. I don't know how to answer that one. Nice motor. I like to get my hands on one. Your 76 is good also. Thanks, man.
Brian, are you going to fly your father's Noble today? No.
I thought about bringing it, but I couldn't fit everything in.
Oh, okay. But that really is a 50-year-old plane.
46 years.
I mean, it'd be neat to have one that's a real, not a ringer, you know, not one of these fake newbies.
Yeah, I haven't even run it since. No reason why I wouldn't run. But
This is the new one here, right?
yeah.
Oh, it'd run. I mean, come
I'm
on.
happy. I can't get that thing to fly level. I made an adjustment. I got to fly. Again.
Now it just comes down straight here.
Yeah,
It has a
right.
little flat area.
Oh, I know what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of that Magnum cowl on the canopy. That's the design originally. It's almost back. So I put it back to the same thing. It's under the glare. I mean, you know, it's migrating away. It's nice though. It looks like it's changing that way. Like I said, out at the little section he was judging, I mentioned that. Oh, you should have told me. I thought that was the effect you were going for. Yeah, right. Did a great job. Thank you for that. What I was going for. That does a real nice job of the hour. Yeah, it's scary. You look over, you're banging it.
Carlos Serra's here. Wow. Now Carlos has a friend that has a, of course, a Ferrari Testarossa. Many times we've tried to link up with him for a photo shoot, and one way or another we've never gotten together, but maybe happening real soon. He owns a pizza parlor down by Carlos. Tricycle gear. Now we went down to the other circle here just so we could get a couple flights. Again, we're just trying to get flights on a 90. That's our whole motive. And we'll try to get some stuff off the tripod if we can. You never know when we're going to get anything off of this tripod, because we just let the camera run, and then at the end of the day we try to pick out something that might be fun to watch. Bob Lampione's here, and hopefully before the day's over he's going to get a flight on this. There's the Ferrari flag. We're just picking up some nice little breezes now, but they're really nice and they're away from the sun for a change. A cool looking plane. Many times before we've had this on when Carlos was building it and we were down by his house. Mixed his own color paint with bronze powder. Has a little bit of the look of a sweeper with the nose gear and kind of a cool plane. Now Brian's been, just to make a mention, is Brian's been flying his Nobler for quite a while now and still has the same problem he originally had. The plane hunts in level flight. And he's tried a lot of things, lowering the elevators and changing things, but I think it's time to put some slop in the plane. And I think as soon as we do that, that'll be the end of that problem. That problem's going to go away quick. But we'll find out. He'll be over the house one day next week. I hope we're going to be able to get it done. And then get out and test it and see if that's going to be an improvement. And if it isn't, it's no big deal to put it, take the slop out and go right back to where you are. Carlos Serra. Here, this is the back circle here. You can see how tight, how close you get to the building. That's where the plane flies, by that yellow line. That's 70 feet, so you have to really be careful. You don't step off center, and what we do is we move some barrels, because if you have to back up that way, that's a problem too. Happening?
How are you?
I'm good. It's very shiny, Neil. What a day, huh?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Oh, I hope you get a day like this for Flushing.
Yes.
All right, Lampion. I brought you videos to watch. Now this is gonna entertain you for the next 2 days. You won't be able to go get your welfare check. You'll have to check that out.
You got the videos I sent you, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Cool. The
Okay.
SB22.
Okay. Let me see how this is working. Let me put it out in the sun.
You have your radio on, Wendy?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, you made the molds for this? This is one you made the molds for?
Right.
Okay.
The right left hand mold. Full body.
This is like Dave. Dave does his this way, yeah.
Dave, how to do this.
That's nice. That's nice.
Like Dave, you got to do it this way.
Well, as long as you figure it out, I don't care who gets the credit, believe me.
This is from you. When you made the original one out of Kevlar, I followed your lead in Kevlar. But you can't sand the damn leading edge.
No, you can't sand Kevlar.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
So-
the reason it's bulletproof is it's stronger than, it's like sanding down a carbide bit, yeah.
Right, I couldn't do it. 4.5 ounces wing halves.
Okay, and these are bolt-on like Yashenko things where they
This
go?
will be bolt on, yeah.
Okay. It's all how, what's the inside, matte?
Nothing. Matte on the inside,
Matte?
0.5, and then like 3 layers at the high point.
Yeah, yeah, right. They put ellipses and everything.
Hey, look,
You're going to come up when we do the wings by Dave's?
I'm going to come up.
Yeah, come up with us. That's nice.
So, but again, I went back to the carbon fiber matte. Well, when I couldn't sand it there, so I went back to, I wanted to do something less expensive than you did with the Nomex.
Oh, well, Midgley paid for it. That's how you do that.
Right, okay, there you go.
You get somebody to do the pay for
This
it.
is a reverse foam wing.
Okay, right. I
got Duncan to cut me 1/8 of an inch slots.
Okay.
And then glass cloth outside.
Yeah, okay.
1/16 ball, so a 1/32. And then
This will be just as good because Kevlar's overkill.
No, it is. And
I mean, you're not going to shoot bullets at this wing, you know?
Nah, plus this allowed me to do it in an inexpensive way. And then
This you can do for $10, yeah.
I use your method of putting the...
Make a lip that you can... Right, exactly.
And I put the lip in here to glue to them, put them in the mold, sand them while it's still in the mold. So I put top and bottom halves, and now the Yasenkos, the only difference they do, they paint them.
But I'm going to tell you, where you paint it in the mold, it adds twice as much paint. Because if you got a valley, it fills with paint.
It fills everything.
And it fills with epoxy too. The best thing is do right there, sand that, tissue it.
Right.
And paint it like it's a foam wing.
A standard finish. Then this, I made
okay, this is a hollow one?
This is a built-up version of the same concept of this.
Okay.
But I made a panel that was too heavy, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I said, well, let's figure this out. So I ended up,
now, what kind of resin did you use on this?
This is all still, what's the California guy?
George Spar.
Yeah, George Spar.
But which resin? Is it pipe resin?
No, not pipe resin. I didn't use pipe resin yet because I was still experimenting before.
Come over with some jaws and I'll give you pipe resin.
$250 a gallon.
See, if you make this out of either one of two things, if you make it out of EPON,
right,
even better, but it's really toxic.
Got it, yeah.
The other stuff is less toxic and almost 90% as strong. Plus, if it ever gets hot, you can go to 212 degrees before it even softens up. You know, the blowtorch on it.
Right.
Come over with empty jars and I'll give you some, because that's what Midgley and I used last year, is tune pipe resin.
But the intention here was to say, can you do a vacuum bag built-up wing?
Sure.
And you obviously
You've done them already.
All out,
sure.
Pull them out. Neil's been flying one for 3 years now. He calls it the Jets airplane. So he has one of these wings in his airplane, and it's pretty solid. But basically, reverse build a built-up wing.
The Kevlar is really overkill. That's why I didn't use it anymore. E-glass is fine. You're never going to break.
Right, exactly.
You're not. I mean, if you're building a space shuttle or something.
Right. And with these,
the body looks nice. Yeah.
Using 16 foam again on the inside to give it the thickness.
Right. Well, Dave's body is.
Huh?
How do you cut that out?
See the lines? I cut it out before I molded it. So I cut them all out, and then I vacuum bagged it in the mold, and then I cut out the...
Because I got a present for you.
I had a layer of glass cloth over the whole top of this.
Parts made.
Wait. I want to see the rest. We got time. You're not going. It's a beautiful day.
So I'll put this
believe me. Just hang on, because I got stuff in the van for you.
Before it gets molded and all that, just a number 11 neck. You cut it all out like a built-up wing, and then you lay it in the mold and vacuum bag it down. So I was trying to do a built-up wing, the look of a built-up wing.
The body is the way Dave has his. This is the same as you. I mean, it's similar anyway. And what did you put 2 layers up here?
3 and 4 layers, but again, I put the whole crutch in, so I end up putting a crutch in it, so that stiffens the whole front end.
Now you put a little balsa sprue on each side when you make the joint.
Just like you did on your video. No, okay. I picked up this whole concept where I started off. Was you gave me a set of wings when you made your first wing. And you said, oh, I put a piece of balsa here, stand it down. So in essence, you have it. You can feel the balsa.
It makes the joint. It makes the joint. Okay, sure.
So you can play with the joint a little bit.
And if you can get in there, you could put a little piece of 1/2-inch cloth or.
Oh yeah, wherever.
Because I thought Midgley's was going to crack. I was afraid it didn't.
No, it basically doesn't, because you can either also laminate it on the outside if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Or you go inside. The Yosenko boys, they go inside.
Yeah, exactly.
After they put the halves together, they go inside. But I did this with the carbon fiber mat. Now I was using 0.5, which is too much. It takes too much resin.
Right.
0.5.
Right.
Yeah, it just sucks up a lot of resin, and it's hard to get the resin out. So.
See, the nice thing about the pipe resin, it's capillary. It's like water.
Just flows.
It's not like West resin where it turns into Jello and you're troweling it off. But it's expensive. I mean, the only problem is that West is like a 1/6 of the price.
Well,
but for the amount you're using, it doesn't pay not to use it.
That was the difference from my end, that the West resin, was $100 a gallon or something. So
right.
I said, I can afford to waste that $100. Right. And before I use $500 on the pipe resin.
Well, it's more than $500. I think it's $650, but I'm not sure.
And you need to heat treat it.
You need to heat treat it. You need a heat gun. You need to have an oven. But Midgley's already got that. What I'm saying, when you come up to do the wing, he's already got the oven.
Well, my intent is to bring one of my molds up there.
Right, and work on it right there.
Work there and show the difference.
Rich Oliver may be joining us too, so make him a wing.
November sometime.
Yeah, Dave will set the date.
Okay.
And he's got, the garage is so big, you could have the marching band join you.
Come on in.
George has got 826 on his brain, I know that. And I got him. Look at what I got you, George. Now I want you to unroll these right in the parking lot. Now these are not like, you can't buy these on eBay or anything.
No, I don't imagine. Oh yeah.
I was cleaning out the shop. Look at this, baby. Roll it.
I am.
Roll it, baby. That is the real A26 plan right there. You could look on a video and see it. There's the wing cutouts and.
Oh yeah. That's what I was curious about.
All right, and keep it as long as you need it, and when you're done, bingo. Now you made up some nacelle ports already?
The whole box.
Okay.
I just have
All right, I'll let you open it. So you've got them all in here. Oh, okay, you got, see, they're constant section to the back of the wing, so you can make shells.
They're all...
Oh, that's beautiful, yeah.
All done with the CA, which is the first time I ever used it.
And how light is that? Beautiful, huh? If you made that out of plywood, it'd be 5 ounces.
At least.
No, that worked out good.
Now, here's my question.
Are they individual wheels? Or
then they sells for the A26.
Oh, I see.
George is doing up an A26.
When this goes together,
right.
Right?
Exactly.
Now, if I don't use the same motors you got, then I got to make these a little longer to put clamp down mounts on.
Well, I'd put clamp mounts anyway, just so if you change your mind. You know, you may want to start with FPs, but supposing you want to go for, here's an example. If you wanted to use 2 LA46s,
right.
It's not legal, but to go to Brodex, who do you think's going to protest? Banjock? You know?
No, but I didn't want to, because I didn't want the firewall right here and then the mount hanging over the front. So
no, just make sure you have enough. It's only got to go, the last bolt can be right there. You don't, whatever sticks out here is just going along for a ride.
Okay, but I mean, if you use the clamp down thing, then you have to have...
Yeah, you gotta leave them out enough for the clamps.
Well, the ones I got would have to go back behind the firewall, the bottom.
You got mine or somebody else's?
I'm not sure. I got a pair that look
They're
like...
blue?
No, they're just aluminum.
No, they're somebody else's. Mine are blue. They're anodized blue.
All right, I didn't know that.
Oh, you got a Mars? Yeah. Bring it over, or I'll go over there. Oh, they got a good turnout today.
Classic and old time.
Look at this day. Unbelievable. Wasting it on a contest.
We'll have, I guess we got 3 different categories, 3 skill levels. This is a photo event, so everybody get your picture taken by Mr. Peabody, and if you win, you get a plaque with your picture on it. Let's see, so Ruben and Steve McBride are going to be your questions all done. And what am I forgetting?
Well, here's the deal. It's that we're gonna. Who's gonna fly that airplane? John? Are you gonna fly that airplane first over there? Look, are you gonna fly that white thing?
White?
Yeah. Before we finish.